Gonna torture me or what? What's your name?
And just let everyone know, 2 updates for a while, at least until Ahsoka Tano comes out. It's going to be Will and I kind of holding the fort here for a while. It's going to be me and Will. Lee is taking a bit of a break to hang with family for a while. So wish him the best. We're hoping that everything works out.
I just find it really funny that, we move away from Disney and Marvel and Star Wars and he's done. Just kind of a coincidence. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there.
Moving forward, I'm going to do all things Disney.
He could have just said that. He could have just said that and I would have believed him. Okay.
Right. Another update moving forward too is, for a little bit now, we're going to start releasing all of our TV show episodes on Tuesdays. Only reason being is the days that we used to record at a certain time, we have pushed up our time for recording, and the time frame to do all the editing just is not there.
Yeah, the time frame to do the editing is bad. I need more than a few hours. It's already. So we start recording. We start recording on Sunday now. We usually release the TV shows on Monday. No,
but it's 11:20 at night.
Yeah.
By the time we're done with this, it'll be 12:30ish.
Yeah, and just get right to it, right?
Just get right to it.
Just get right to it.
No rush at all. So we're doing episode 2 of season 1, titled Hawk and Dove.
Yes.
Okay. So before I continue, by the end of this season, because on Netflix it shows you, on HBO it shows you all the seasons, and if you look towards the end, there's an episode called Hank and Dawn. Like, same characters.
Yeah, pretty much. Hank and Dawn, Hawk and Dove, same characters.
Like, that's like one episode called Robin and one episode called Dick Grayson.
Pretty much.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Titling could be a little bit better in this season.
I'm not gonna, I won't deny that. I won't deny that. Some of them were spot on though.
Before we get into it though, what are your thoughts? I know you really enjoyed last week.
Yeah.
And you said you've watched the first 6 episodes and you really liked them all.
I stopped watching though. I will say that. I stopped watching because I don't want to move I don't want to move more forward than I already am, because there was a thing that happened that might cloud my judgment, and I don't want that to happen. I want us to both be on the same page, so we can both kind of either love it or hate it together. I think that would be kind of cool. So here's how I'm feeling about this episode. And all right, I love that we're not oversaturating everything with a whole bunch of different characters all at the same time. So much like I said last week, when you bring in characters, there's a certain focal point around them. So in this episode, Hawk and Dove, Hank and whatever her name is, they are the primary characters in this episode. Like, the episode is primarily about them surrounding them. And Dick Grayson and Rachel, kind of take a back seat. And I like that. I like that they're not trying to juggle a whole bunch of different storylines going on at the same time. They do the whole thing about whether or not he's going to leave and he writes a note, but it's so secondary. The primary is Hawk and Dove and what they're about to do, and them doing one last big job for the cause of good, and his medical condition, and her feelings towards Dick Grayson. Like, they do this whole thing surrounding these 2 characters and 2 characters alone. It's the primary focus. You're not doing very much more outside of that, which is fantastic. I love the way that the story is going. I love that it's telling that story. And at the same time, the little bit that we do get from other characters, it's minimal, but it moves their stories along just as well. It's amazing. It's amazing the way that they're doing this. I personally really enjoyed this episode. The character of Hank is the doofus. I don't think I'm wrong for saying that. He's a buffoon. He's the muscle. He's basically just there to do everything his woman tells him to do, and that is it. He's the big buffoon. I don't have a problem with the big buffoon character. I don't have a problem with that at all. You're not really going to do a lot with him, but it is what it is. I liked him for who he was. I don't know how I feel about them doing this whole like relationship dynamic for Dick Grayson right now. It screams, hey, Bruce had a lot of girlfriends, so I'm going to have a lot of girlfriends too. It's a little bit of that going on. But yeah, this episode again, like the pilot, it's continuing the story. I don't have any complaints. I loved it. I'm sure as you go through your notes, I think there's one or two things from this episode that I might pick at, but for the most part, I thought this was excellent. I still very much, in the second episode, I still very much enjoy this show. And I think it's some of the best superhero comic book-esque material that I think fans of comic book material has gotten in a while, certainly since Endgame. It still blows my mind that it took this long for this type of television show to come across my radar. And that's all I'll say, and I'm done.
So I'm with you.
All right.
I'm with you for the most part. There is one thing that I was like, oh, they had to. Like, I'll say it now. The need for him to call up Alfred, to even see Bruce Wayne's name go across his cell phone screen and then him call Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're trying so hard to get away from that.
Yeah.
But you're calling him.
Yeah, you need help. Yeah.
Like, even Dove at one point in the episode's like, this is like Wayne Tech.
Yes. Everything about him screams Wayne. Everything about Dick screams Wayne. Screams Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, Batman, whatever. Everything.
So him trying to escape it and protect. I'm torn right now because if he was trying to escape it and was leaving it alone completely and didn't use anything Bruce Wayne tech or Batman-esque or anything like that, and yet it was still following him, one thing. If he gives in and just says, you know what it is, I am Batman 2.0, Batman Light, know. I'm Robin, I have access to all this stuff, so I'm just going to give in. I'm just going to take advantage of it and use what I have in front of me. Perfect. Mm-hmm. The idea of, I don't want to be like this. I'm doing everything in my power to get away from it, but I'm also going to use all of it at the same time, too. Mm-hmm. That's where I get thrown off. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm like, I hope at some point they stop that. Because they didn't do it last episode. They did it this episode. If they continue it, it'll frustrate me. Because I don't like that. I really don't like that. Other than that, though, loved the episode.
Yeah. If the show was telling me in a subtle way, eventually there will be an answer to what happened between Batman and Robin. Eventually we will get an answer about what happened between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne, like what caused their separation. If the show was telling me, hey, we'll tell that story, I would be okay with everything that they're doing right now. But so far, and I don't think this is spoilerific, so far in what I've seen, there's no hint of that really happening. The show is very much centered around Dick and his escape from outside of the Wayne shadow, right? So I don't foresee that story ever, amounting to very much. Like I really hope, and I hope this I really hope there isn't like the scene of Batman and Robin and they're out and they're fighting crime and we see I don't want to see Batman. I do not want to see Batman here. And I'm kind of afraid that might happen just to like tell that story. I would be kind of okay with that. But for the most
If
part,
he had a conversation, if he came in and he had a conversation and it was a one quick cameo and they used the right person and it's not Bruce. If it was Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne having the conversation, fine. Robin versus Batman, I don't like because it's more Grayson trying to escape Wayne's shadow, not Robin escaping Batman's shadow.
No, you're right. Yeah, I agree.
So if Bruce Wayne comes in and they have a 5-minute conversation and then Bruce Wayne leaves, I'd be okay with that. To like squash the whole thing.
I understand.
Outside of that,
I understand completely where you're coming from. I want to know why.
Right. I'm saying if the conversation happens, they can explain why in the conversation. Dick Grayson could be like, this happened and I'm frustrated or I'm mad or I'm pissed or I'm whatever. And they get into a little argument or a conversation or have conflict of some sort. They work it out or they don't work it out. And Grayson goes, because of this, I'm done. And he walks away.
It could be as simple as you killed that guy. That's all he has to say, and everybody would understand why he's running away from Wayne. That's all he would have to say. Like
you killed that guy, and now I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah,
thanks.
You killed that guy, and now I'm here doing this now. Thank you very much. That would be a great way to round out the story that they're trying to tell, and they could continue on. They're laying it even in the first 2 episodes, and I'm sorry, but it continues. They lay the Wayne overlooming shadow on so thick. I just, you want to know, I don't know why TV shows do this, but every TV show I've ever watched has done a little bit of this, where there is a subplot or there's a sub-storyline that's more intriguing or more interesting than the main storyline. Right now, in Titans, for me personally, my favorite storyline is Rachel. But the most interesting storyline is obviously what happened between the two of you and why you're running away.
Exactly.
Same thing with, I'm going to bring this, same thing when we watched Book of Boba Fett. The most interesting thing that was going on there was his time with the Tusken Raiders. It was way more interesting than anything current day. Everything, it happens, and I'm not going to list a whole bunch of examples, but it happens in almost every single show that you watch where they do this thing where it's like, here's this little subplot, way more interesting than everything else is going on. I don't know. Right now, my curiosity is on 10. I want to know what happened.
I think they did a good job with that. The difference between this and Book of Boba Fett is present day storyline is actually still really, really good.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
They're not doing a past tense storyline to draw you in. They're just dropping little nuggets here and there to like wet your whistle, entice you to want the I think they're looking for people to have that like, I'm curious as to what's happening.
Yes.
And they achieved it really, really well. So I think the writers did a good job in that.
I 100% agree with you. I still think it's I don't know. Maybe it's because Bruce Wayne, Batman, is such like a massive figure that there's no escaping it no matter what you do. Like when you think Detective Comics, when you think DC, you think Batman.
Or Superman, one of the two.
Right? Or you think one of the two. And every other character is so subpar. That's the one thing I will say that Marvel does a little bit better than DC. Marvel, even through their comics and even through their comics, through their cartoons, through their live action movies and television shows, Marvel has been able to give a lot of characters, distinct personalities and their own fan bases and their own followings and their own level of importancy. DC really can't escape that. Batman and Superman are always going to be the main two, and everything is always going to revolve around the two of those characters. Exactly. You really can't, you're not going to find another character in DC that's going to be at that caliber. It's not going to happen. So maybe it's just that is what it is, and maybe I just have to accept it, which, okay.
Right. Well, you want to get into it?
Sure.
Hey everybody, Lee from Black and White Reviews here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in, checking out our conversation. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more about this specific subject or other things, check us out on our podcasting sites, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Podcasts. We're up on pretty much all of them. So yeah, thanks again for popping by, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.